Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, Part 17. This one I'm looking at 3 story arcs: Ocean's Dream, Foxy's Return, and the continuing Long Road, Long Land arc. First up, it's Ocean's Dream. I did not watch the entirety because I already knew what happened in this arc because I remember this one 3 years ago. This arc is terrible. Why? Purely for the fact that the main premise of the story is utter nonsense. Yes, the story is this: that all the Straw Hats, with the exception of Robin, have lost their memories. Yep, pretty much, it's like they wipe away every memory just prior to becoming part of the Straw Hats. Or at least the day before they joined the Straw Hats. Yeah, that's simply what it is. And Robin, of course, was recently with the crew, so probably she had that many memories of them. I mean, she had traveled with them for about a few stories at this point. Though in the manga, if you think about it, he only was in the group maybe like 2 stories. Right here in the anime, it's like several. Oh yeah, and most of the time they're fighting each other because they don't trust each other because of their memory loss. And there's one person that posted a theory about Luffy's scar he currently has on his big X scar. The canon explanation is that what happened in Marineford, that's what caused Luffy's scar. My friend, who I haven't spoken to in a couple of years, it's mainly due to the fact that I haven't, because I've been so busy, and I'm not sure what the heck he's up to nowadays. Yeah. He theorized this arc is the reason why he's got a scar on his chest because Zoro cut him. Yes, here's the thing: Luffy's been cut before in the series, and he's healed up pretty quickly. That's mainly due to the fact he's rubber. I highly doubt the fact this one scar somehow was kept on his chest for 2 freaking years. Oh yeah, and the person behind the memory loss is a little boy with a horn shaped like a seahorse. And the reason why he did this? Because he didn't have good memories. Ooh, these people got good memories. Let's just steal them. Because he's bored. How did he get memories back? The seahorse being destroyed. Yep. And here's the thing about this arc: it's an adaptation of a video game. Yes, it's a One Piece video game called Ocean's Dream. That's the premise this arc came from, and it's a completely useless arc. If you watch it, if you think of what filler is, this is straight out filler. Nothing nods to canon here. Just lots of references, a lot of stuff we could be watching instead of this bullcrap. Moving on from that 6-part story arc, which lasts from episodes 220 to 224. Next, we have a wonderful 2-parter, which has sprinkles of canon stuff in this one. The canon stuff is the first mentioning and debut of Admiral Aokiji. You don't see his face yet because he doesn't show his face until the end of the 2nd part of this 2-parter. Meanwhile, back with the Straw Hats, they come across Foxy's ship, which last time I saw Foxy was actually, I kid you not, it only has been like 7 episodes since his last, it's been like actually about 6 episodes since his last appearance, which is kind of strange, the fact that he just happened to return here. And it's like, oh, we bring him on board, him along with Pork Chop and Hamburg. And Luffy, instead of dragging the ship before of course, Luffy's smart, they just do a rope. And instead, Foxy, Pork Chop, and Hamburg just grab his arm because they grow back, and they briefly stand aboard the ship. Also, Pork Chop discovers they have gold on board. The gold they got from Skypiea. They don't mention they got from Skypiea, but they got from Skypiea. And then they're traveling out for like a little while. Yeah, and Foxy does not want to fish at all. Hamburg actually has a really interesting post. Apparently, someone, I don't know who did this, someone thought this was a really ingenious move. Put him as the guy in the crow's nest. Interesting. And he spots the sexy Foxy. Foxy's ship. Yes, the ship that he had taken away by Luffy, but he gets it back. He gets back on board. Crew accepts it, no problem. But not the ship. The ship is under control of the Fang Frog Pirates. I'm surprised Luffy doesn't say, your pirate name is lame. Yeah, these guys, like, okay, let's have a day back fight to get back the ship. And, like, let's have a duel between captains. And Fisk goes off, but he does his little slow beam, and his crew decide, like, Amber's like, wait, why are your crew attacking us when we 1-on-1? Oh yeah, and the guy said, I never accepted the duel. Yeah. And thanks to Luffy helping him out, they beat the Fang Frog Pirates really easily, but apparently Fox holds a grudge. He's sending them below, and they kind of battle him and like go through like what they go to what looks like pork chop's room. Yeah, apparently she does cutesy stuff. And of course, Foxy is disguised as pork chop, and of course they get away. And briefly, here's the thing: Nami and Luffy are basically drawn away from us, the Straw Hats, because Foxy easily is points of the obvious. Nami's the brains behind the Straw Hats. But here's the thing: Luffy's the captain, but Nami basically kind of steers the ship. Yeah, and Luffy's like, hey, I've seen you see like the device where they killed Nami and Un and Luffy. Luffy's like, I've seen this before. Yeah, the big punching bag thing from the episode where they fought in the three-part where we had the boxing match. The other one is looks like a bunch of horseshoes. Apparently, if you touch them, they burn. And Luffy's like, Nami, give me some water, please. She's like, sure. And just makes some water, thanks to her batons. And the chains get wet, Luffy breaks them, and they get tied up. Also, apparently, Foxy loses his pants and his coat. Which begs the question, why doesn't Foxy wear a shirt? Yeah, that's a question I like to ask. Like, why doesn't Foxy wear a shirt? And why is Porkchop allowed to basically show off her cleavage and look like she's going to come out of her, let's say, her mechanic suit? It's probably Foxy for you. And I thought she was like the only female recruit. Nope, she got several others. And it's like, okay, since I beat, like, your punishment, accept this guy's back in crew. He's like, okay, fine. And, well, they go off. Of course, Foxy gets back his clothes back on. And they go off, and don't worry, not the last time we see them. And then we have them going to an island, have a barbecue, and all of a sudden, Foxy, Porkchop, and Hamburg show up with a crab submarine, thinking they're Team Rocket from Pokemon. Yeah, Team Rocket basically did this. Whenever Ash and his crew basically were traveling at sea, they traveled in a Magikarp sub. This screams easy Pokemon ripoff right here. And Luffy easily figures it out that, oh yeah, it's Foxy. Submarine breaks, and they say I sit and mope, but Fox's like, I want to get revenge, but nope, he gets knocked away, and of course Sanji gets portions of food. She accepts it, and of course they all go back, and don't worry, not the last see of them in the series. They show up one more time in the series in the Spa Island arc, which is not going to show up for quite some time. Yeah. Here's though, when does this show up? The Spa Island, let's see, I think in 11, this is 7. And then finally, the episode basically we lead into actually the two-parter, where the Straw Hats just walk around the island that they're on, and they see like the streak, and they're like, "Where the heck did that come from?" And then they come across Aokiji, the most bizarre way possible. He just sleeping against a rock, sleeping straight up, and he says he's out for a stroll, and they confirm where Nicaragua went out with the Straw Hats. And that leads in, and of course, when Robin sees him, like, oh crap, it's you! It's Aokiji, one of the weapons of the government. And she also reveals who the other two admirals are. But the other two will show up in Marineford, don't worry. And she reveals who the actual fleet admirals in the series. Sengoku. Also, I thought this was so hilarious. Like, And then by the next episode, it's like, okay, this maybe some some comedy for Nami and Luffy, like where Aokiji's like, hey, big bazongas, you want to go out with me tonight? And of course, both Sanji and Usopp basically just like, no way. And then he looks at Luffy and is like, hey, you're the spitting image of your grandfather. He's like, what? He's like so nervous I mentioned his grandfather. Don't worry, they meet his grandfather in post Enderos lobby. Don't worry about that. It is by far one of the most hilarious scenes of the entire series. And then he's like, since he's not hit the rest of us, like, he goes to keep antagonizing him. So, fight. Yep, let's have ourselves a big brawl. First having Robin get frozen. And Luffy basically decides to protect Robin by having Usopp and Chopper take her back to get defrosted, and Luffy ends up fighting Aokiji one-on-one, despite the fact that Zoro and Sanji want to help, but they get partially frozen. But they're basically, and of course Chopper melts on all the ice, and of course Luffy gets frozen by Aokiji after a very brief battle. Yeah, a lot of this stuff happened off-screen. And Aokiji wins. Of course, tells us basically that, well, I'll just basically go off, but before all this fight happens, we see some castaways on the island. Yes, some castaways. And he decided to help him out. He apparently heard about this. I'm not surprised. He's an admiral. He probably, since he's a high-ranking admiral, he probably knew about the passenger liner going down, and these guys being the only survivors. So that happened a month ago. If I remember, they had a passenger liner ship in the pilot episode. I don't think that's the same ship. This is probably a different group of people. And he says to freeze the sea, and he says it'll take about a week for it to melt. He says, oh yeah, there's an island nearby. It'll take you 4 days to get there by walking. Yes, walking across ice and ocean. I'm surprised he couldn't contact a boat for them. And then they'll have the actual fight. And afterwards, he'll go off, and of course, he gets on his boat. Not his boat, his bicycle. Yes, his bicycle with a little bell. Ding ding. Yeah, I've actually had a bicycle like that. He just strolls off, and don't worry, he will return in post Enderos lobby. But before he leaves, like, okay, where the hell? Oh yeah, Water 7. Like, oh crap, that's actually in Marine headquarters, Navy headquarters. Damn. And he goes riding off. After both Luffy and Robin defrosted, then we have stuff that leads into the very next arc of the series, Water 7, where everyone just, like, after everybody's eating, of course, everyone has some fun, everyone decided to do some fishing, and then Zoro basically look at from the bow, and he's, what the? He's like, what? And he sees a frog doing the front stroke. A frog with scars doing a front stroke. Yeah, this frog is a lead into the Water 7 arc. And they chase the thing. And of course, Nami, Robin, and Sanji are inside the kitchen / helm room when they notice that the ship is moving. And everyone's wondering, like, why are you all, what's going on? It's, oh yeah, there's this frog with scars we're chasing. We're gonna catch him, we're gonna eat him. And they chase him to a lighthouse. And then the ship hits something. What is it? Tracks in the water for a sea train. Yep, kind of the first hints of its first appearance of an actual sea train. We'll get more explanation for this both in the very next arc of the series, Water 7, and Enderos Lobby, believe it or not. Yep, the very next two arcs of the series explains the whole thing about sea trains and who created the sea train. And also the next arc is the debut of the next crew member of the series. I won't say who it is just yet because I do not want to spoil it, okay? But yeah, out of these three arcs, Ocean's Dream, easy skip, don't worry about it. Foxy Return, excellent arc, it leads directly into the next two-parter, and then that two-parter leads to Water 7, which is fantastic. Yeah, I gotta love the last 4 episodes of Season 7. Yeah, if you look at Season 7 overall, it's also the great filler arc with GA, which is pure fun. The long road arc, the long island arc, long land arc, basically the main story of it. That part is great. And then, of course, you have the two filler stories and the resumption of that previous arc. The two filler arcs, Ocean's Dream is terrible. but Foxy Return is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And yeah, interesting way to end the season. And starting with next season's series, we have much longer seasons. Also starts this thing where a lot of the seasons are have like one story arc. Like season 9, technically actually three stories. You have Edros Lobby, post Edros Lobby, and season 9 arc. 11 has two fun and several Abago. For 12, it just Amazon, Lily, and Friends' whereabouts. Two stories. 13 is mostly impelled down the entire season, and like forward. But they do take a few episodes off, and most 14, almost the entirety of it is Marine Corps, and they have post-war with 6 little. And a lot of the seasons after this are usually like one story, so like 15, 10 things has stories. 6 is all on, and a lot of the seasons after this one will have just one story arc for that season because these arcs get longer. Yeah, the arcs get much longer for the series after this. So yeah, that's it for particular review. My next review is going to be a Comic Corner. And also I'm going to try to do a review for Black Clover tonight. Yep, this is the next video. Bye.